Now that I've officially gotten over 115 hours in the game, I feel like it's about time I make somewhat full video about Resident Evil 4. I'll start by saying that the grind for the Infinite Rocket Launcher is 1,000,000% worth it. I mean, once you get it, you'll never go back to using like a normal weapon ever again, but it's fine, because at this point you've gotten like 100 hours in the game with just the regular stuff. My introduction to Resident Evil was with the first game, the remake, the one that has the dog jump scare that everyone talks about. Not like a super interesting game to me at the time, but you know, I thought that was good. Love the series, you know. Resident Evil 7 was like the first one I sort of like played on my own. I thought that was a good entry. Even if I did think the molds weren't like the most interesting designs. Resident Evil 8 was also really solid. I like Lady Dimitrescu. I didn't get the Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3 remakes, but I watched people play them, and I really want to get Resident Evil 2 because Mr. X I think he's really cool, and in general, I think that one's really cool. But I haven't heard the most positive things about the Resident Evil 3 remake. When I saw it, like for the time, I thought it was good. I mean, at the time when I saw it, but you know, looking back, it's something that I think is more interesting the first time you see it, and then, you know, coming back to it, it's like it doesn't really hit the same. Anyways, today we're talking about the Resident Evil 4 remake. As you can tell, this is the one that I've been replaying the most. I forget if I mentioned that in the video earlier. Whatever, I'll cut that out if I did. When I got it, I thought I would just play it like 2 or 3 times, but I'm on like my 10th playthrough now. So I'm gonna be talking about this in like different sections. They're not gonna be super long, but you know, I just want to organize these thoughts. First, we're gonna be talking about sections of the game. Then we're gonna talk about bosses, touch on the enemy type. Then I'm gonna give quick thoughts on the characters. Then I'm gonna talk about other language dubs. Then I'm gonna talk about a couple secret little bonus things for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Sections of the game. First, I'm gonna say, even though I never played the original game, I'm really glad they cut out the section where Ashley's like, she's like restrained in something, and you have to like snipe the restraints off of it to free her, and then, you know, you can like accidentally snipe her in the head. I don't know, that part looked really confusing to me when I saw people playing it, so I was like, damn, if they remake this, I really hope I don't have to deal with that, and I'm glad I don't. Let's see here. What did I enjoy that they did put into it? Well, of course I enjoy the villages, the beginning of the game. When you first go into the village, you know, they burn the cop on the stake. I think everyone loves that section. It's an easy top 10 sections in any horror game. I didn't know this for a while, but I thought it was just timed. If you kill enough of them, you can speed up how fast that section goes. That information's readily available with any speedrunners, I'm sure, but I would still thought that was cool when I figured that out. I also enjoy the area in the castle when you have to find the heads for the manticore, the snake, the lion, and the goat head. I like the painting puzzle with the king and the queen, and you have to find their seats. First couple times I thought it was randomly generated, but it's the same spots every time. Either way, I like puzzles like that you know, you have to coordinate, figure out which one is the same. I think those are fun, and you know, you get your introduction to the knights there, which the knights are some of my favorite enemies in any game. I think they're really unique. So another one of my favorites in the game is when the regenerators are first introduced. They're some of the creepiest enemies, and I think that's probably the area of the game that scared me the most. Even coming back to it, I get freaked out by it. My least favorite areas, I really hate the in the castle when there's all that goo, those goo fountains, and you know, you have to get through there and you have to like defend Ashley while she's like turning the wheel. It's so tedious every time. I hate it. So don't like the wrecking ball section. It just feels kind of tedious. It goes on for so long. Like Ashley takes forever to hit the wall with each swing, and it gets a little bit obnoxious. And I also strongly dislike the chapter 15 ending where the helicopter, I don't even know how to describe it because I block it out of my memory every time because it's such an annoying section. But I do really like the puzzles in this game. Like all the puzzles, I think they're really fun. Like even just a cubic device, like that's a little thing, a little doohickey that I think is really fun to diddle with. Okay, now on to the bosses in the game. I think the 2 worst bosses for me are the giant and the salamander. I used to really like the salamander when I first saw it. I thought it was cool, you know, you get a different type of weapon. It's a very different style of boss fight. You know, once you figure it out how to do it, it's just, again, it feels like a time waster. And I mean, I don't really know what it contributes to the story. very much. Maybe I have to look into that, but for right now, my impression of it is that it's just one of the animals that they experimented on that got really big, and I don't know, it doesn't seem too important to me anyways. And the giant, to me, it just kind of seems like a very lazy, kind of generic design, and the fight just isn't, it's not very interesting aside from when the dog shows up. I've never been too big on like giant human enemies in games because I feel like it's kind of very easy to just put that in. The only time I've ever really been interested in like big human enemies is Attack on Titan, but that's a story for another day. My favorites are very easy to pick out. Definitely Krauser, Vertigo, and Mendez. Krauser I like because he forces you to focus on a different style of fighting, kind of like how the Salamander does, but he forces you to focus on using the knife, which when I was playing it originally, I wasn't using the knife very much to do anything, but when, you know, Krauser fights you, you're not allowed to use your gun, so you actually have to figure out how to use the mechanics, which I found that a little bit challenging, and I thought it was fun to explore that. And, you know, I love the when you get into his like main boss fight, he has this whole stage set up for Leon, you know, even though they're exes, he's really putting forth his passion into that. His second phase is pretty cool too. He gets his sword and shield out. Vertigo, I think, looks really cool too. It's like a big scorpion roach looking thing, and I like how they've adjusted it in the remake. I think the intro for it is really ominous too. It kind of reminds me of like a mix of Xenomorph and Predator in a sense, and I like the lore for it too, with it being one of Salazar's. I forget the one that you fight. It's either the scientist or the butler that Salazar had, but either way, I like that kind of somewhat personal connection to one of the other main bosses in the game. And Mendez, I think, just has like a really cool design, like in his first phase when his spine gets all stretched out, and then in the second phase when he starts swinging around like a giant crab. That goes so hard, man. Onto the enemy types. The tentacle heads, I think they're the absolute worst thing invented in this game, along with the bugs. Whoever designed these two, I hope that when they're driving, that they always get stuck at the train tracks in between two cars so that they can't move, and the train moves really slow and they have to pee really bad. The dog enemies in this game, I think they look really silly. Even with the model viewer, like their teeth protrude out such a ridiculous amount that, you know, it's hard to take them seriously. If I remember correctly, the designs in the original game were a lot more menacing, and they should have just stuck with that. But I mean, that kind of like these silly looking dogs, they remind me of my dog. They have a really cool wrestler aesthetic to them. I like their eyes being stitched shut too. Looks gnarly as hell. The Regenerators, I think, are easily the creepiest looking enemies, with like their, you know, their jiggle physics, which I don't know why that's fully necessary to have it on every single roll, but you know, I guess that adds to the realism. And you know, the way their bodies like flop around when they're moving, it's freaky. Gloria Las Plagas is my best friend, by the way. My favorite section, the characters. Alright, we're gonna do just quick thoughts on each of them. Starting with Leon, I think he's a solid protagonist. I do miss some of his iconic lines like,
"No thanks, bro.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you."
Your right hand comes off?
It should keep you busy.
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
or his iconic interaction with Ashley.
Looks like this is it.
Ugh, it stinks.
Sure does.
No way, Leon.
Way.
Ashley, I think she's certainly a lot less annoying in the remake. She's kind of cute in her own little way, and she becomes more tolerable with the armor, even though she doesn't stop screaming. Luis, love this bisexual king. From what I gather, they changed up a lot for this character. Again, I didn't play the original, so I don't have too much of a memory of what he was like before. But from what I understand, like I said, he's better in this one. Hunnigan, I think she does what she needs to. I never really cared too much for Ada's character, but now the merchant, you see, this is peak character. Such a beautiful, handsome design and such a lovable personality, and you could just never forget that beautiful voice.
Welcome! Its ammo will penetrate just about anything.
I don't, like I said for Mendez, I don't really know too much about his actual character. I think he was a pastor before he got infected, but I could be wrong. When I first saw him, I thought that he was going to be a tyrant, you know, like from the way he's dressed. He ended up dying a lot sooner than I thought he would. Krauser is like Leon's stalker, obsessive yandere, XBF, 18 plus abusive. Aside from that, I think he's a pretty cool guy. Salazar is a short, insignificant man with an ugly red face full of pockmarks. I wasn't too big on Sadler's change to be like this religious fanatic. I liked his speech in the original where he's talking about Hollywood movies instead. I mean, maybe he was a religious fanatic in the original. I'm not too sure. I wasn't too big on his whole personality in general. Also, don't worry, we'll get to Wesker later. So after about 5 or 6 playthroughs, me and my brother had decided we were going to switch up the languages to see what the other ones sounded like. The Japanese dub was solid as expected, and I was pleasantly surprised by the Russian one too. The German was alright, and unfortunately I wasn't too big on the Spanish dub. And as for the other languages, I'll get to those in the next playthroughs. Maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video and mention them and say what I think about them. This one's just a quick bonus because I found this like a couple days ago and I'm shocked. Okay, so Ashley's armor is cute and all. Leon has some cute accessories, whatever. Why have I seen no one talk about the villain outfit for Leon? I don't know. I mean, it has red eyes, it's got longish dark hair, and it has Howl's feathers. Maybe I just haven't looked enough into the Resident Evil 4 fandom, but I would like to see a lot more craze about this starting now. And Wesker gets his own section. The best tall blonde man with cat eyes. I know a famous German artist who would love him. Artist is actually not famous, it's just me. I mean, I cannot tell you how excited I was when I saw him in the ending cutscene of the game. Like, I went crazy over that, and I still do every single time. His model, I think, is really well done. It looks nice. I do like the Dead by Daylight model too for that game. I'm not too big on his voice here though. It's too dark and mysterious sounding. I prefer his Resident Evil 5 voice, where he's very over the top. He's always growling and he's British for some reason. I think that's where regardless, I'm so excited for the Resident Evil 5 remake, even if they go with this new voice for him. As much as I would love the silly British voice back, I just want to see Wesker's final boss fight remade in Ultra 4K HD. He's also incredible in the Mercenaries. I mean, once you get the hang of how his block works, you're set to go for the rest of it. I mean, you'll be getting millions in 2 seconds.
And it's time for ranking the Mercenaries.
I'm gonna go worst to best for maps, and then we're gonna do characters.
Maps.
Docks, castle, island, village.
Characters.
Dress Ada, Pinstripe Leon, Wesker, Krauser.
That's all.
So yeah, that was my small ramble about Resident Evil 4, which I like doing this style of video a lot more actually, as opposed to rankings. But you know, if you guys prefer rankings, just let me know in the comments all your thoughts, and please do subscribe or else Wesker is going to kill me tonight. Bye bye.